And perhaps taking a cue from the interns, MTV has adopted a strict dress code policy. Come as you are.
Every girl crazy about it, shined as me.
Everyone sort of dressed down. Every day was like, you know, casual Friday.
You see someone wearing a tie, they're obviously going somewhere that's unusual.
I love getting in the elevators. You can see an executive in a suit standing next to a PA in shorts with a nose ring, 3 earrings, purple hair.
It's always just been a real good, free-spirited kind of thing.
This is a sick environment that we work in.
Let's dance!
There's stress and all the things that happen in any kind of office, but, you know, we are in the toy department. You know, everyone would like to work in the toy department.
Get the out of my office right now. I'm trying to work.
You're in someone's office and you look up, and because the Marriott Marquis is across the way, you see a flasher in the window, like waving himself at you.
You had one guy who was a chronic masturbator. You know, it was almost on schedule.
I remember it was quite the crowd pleaser.
And I remember specifically one time that happening, running out in the hallway to get another friend of mine to come in and see what was going on, and I ran into Lenny Kravitz. So there I am now, Lenny's following me into the office, and I'm standing next to Lenny, and we're watching this man. And Lenny's reaction was, why is he doing that?
But more common than a Times Square peep show in the halls of MTV is running into celebrities.
You're sitting in your office and you're talking with somebody about some show. You know, you look up, oh, there's John Bon Jovi going by.
You're in the elevator and there's Prince.
I heard that he was there, and so I wanted to see him before he left. Just, you know, it's Prince. I wanted to see what was going on. So I come sort of running around the long way, and I end up literally running into him. So that was kind of embarrassing.
One time, Paul McCartney was just visiting one of the executives.
Marilyn Manson comes around with a photographer to take a photo with just about everybody on the halls, just sort of pops into everybody's office and sort of takes photos.
There were rock stars walking through the place all the time. When Muhammad Ali walked through the halls of MTV, there were jaws dropping everywhere.
Celebrities have been knocking around the network since the very beginning, but the number of famous faces soared in 1997 when MTV opened its new studio and began shooting more live shows at 1515 Broadway.
When we built the studio a couple of years ago, it really has changed everything about MTV because we've constantly got acts in the building. One day, not too long ago, we had Michael Stipe, ODB, Wyclef, and Britney Spears. And that's the kind of thing that now happens on a regular basis down here.
Every day, screaming, sign-waving fans show up for a glimpse at that day's guest on TRL. And MTV staffers can relate to that because we're fans as well.
I know it sounds a little ridiculous, but one of the big reasons why I came to MTV News was because of Madonna. Over the years, all the things we've done with her, it's kind of hard to come up with new ideas because it's sort of like we've seen everything. And the one thing we hadn't seen was her actually recording.
Madonna has called, and as always, we have come this time to the secluded Larrabee studio in North Hollywood.
We show up having no idea what to expect, and we're welcomed into the studio while they're in the middle of recording. And we have a beta crew, and I also brought along a little digital video camera to pick up some extra little shots and stuff here and there. And it turns out she's laying down vocals for one of the songs.
So I guess you guys were gonna do Skin?
And she's actually gonna let us shoot it. But she kind of doesn't want everybody to be on top of her while she's singing, so she kind of quickly looks around the room and assesses the situation and just says,
Everyone has to go out except who has to be in here.
Then she says, you can stay. And all of a sudden I look around and I realize that I'm alone in the recording booth with her. I'm like freaking out, and I'm trying not to show it. You know, I'm trying to keep my cool, but this is a pretty amazing experience.
Do I know you from somewhere?
So then she records the song, and I'm standing there, you know, this close to her. I was just floored. I was just, you know, it was just one of those moments where you're just kind of like, how did I get here?
Marius, that was wrong, wasn't it?
Meeting and taping your favorite artist is one thing, but what about reuniting your favorite band?
Everyone's got that first band that opened the door for you, and Kiss was certainly, you know, when I picked up my first guitar, I wanted to be Ace Frehley.
Unplugged producer Alex Coletti hooked up with Kiss when the fabulous foursome had been reduced to playing acoustic shows at their Kiss conventions around the country.
I flew out and saw them in Detroit Rock City. How perfect. Sat with Gene and Paul and said, you know, Unplugged's at a place now where I feel like MTV owes me one. Let's do this. Come on, what do you say? Great. It's like, well, the one catch is we needed Peter and Ace back in the fold. The night before, we're at Sony, band shows up, no Ace and Peter. I am so far out on a branch alone at this point. I'm like, guys, I kind of went to the wall for this. What's going on? What could have been a very cool moment for me was Paul let me sound check Ace's guitar, so I sat in with the band. And I should have been having the time of my life, but where the hell is Ace? Where is Peter? What's going on? Next day, everyone shows up. It's all good. And for those who care, it was magic.
Jamming at an unplugged rehearsal is not the only time an MTV staffer got to feel like a star for a day.
We were producing a package for the anniversary of the Week in Rock, and everybody in the department was kind of being followed around. And so a couple of people in the department were kind of goofing around with me at the end of the tape, and I don't even remember what the question was, but it was something silly, and I said, I can't meet a single guy over 30 who's like a human being. I started getting like fan mail from guys over 30. It's raining men! I got a letter from a roadie for Johnny Cash. And then I got like this picture from this Navy SEAL. I was like, wow, you know, like the power of television.
But there are those who do find true love in the intern room.
We met as interns at MTV, like in 1995.
Austin had an idea that what would mean the world to him was to actually propose to his wife, Julie, on stage at Madison Square Garden at the Van Halen concert, and the band agreed to it.
You know, when I was a kid, there was nothing cooler than Van Halen.
Austin had told Julie that I was going to be singing backup with the band.
Which really wasn't the truth. It was Matt was going to go out there and introduce me.
The guy who produced Matt Rock and works for me, Austin Redding, his dream all his life was always to go on stage with Van Halen.
And I knew Matt was going on stage to do the encore, so that wasn't like a surprise.
Let's hear it.
Then Austin went on stage, and I was like, what is he doing?
I love New York.
I wasn't nervous, you know. Once I got on stage, I was like, I'm in the middle of it. I've got to do it.
All right, well, this is the biggest moment of my life because I want this wonderful girl that I love dearly to come up here because I'm going to ask her to marry me.
When I realized that, I was just like, I have no choice, I have to go. Like, I remember looking over my shoulder, like when I was walking up there, and just like seeing this huge sea of people and just this unbelievable like roar, and there's this guy in the front row, and he was like, yeah!
Austin got on his knees in front of all those thousands of people on the big screen and on the stage and proposed marriage to her on stage at Madison Square Garden.
I think she said yes!
She did say yes. That would have been really bummed out everybody at the show if she had said no to him.
When we come back, we'll tell you who had the hots for who at MTV.
We all had sex, but we didn't really date.
You repeated? I never thought I was a sexy babe.
I was a little crush on her. I know you did like Joe. It's still around now.
If we ever got together, I mean, we had to change the bathroom towels.
You mean if we got married, I could keep my name?
Marriage is a scary thing.
I had a crush on Kurt Loder.
Crush, eh?
Still do, actually. Don't tell me.
What might have been? Why am I finding out about it now?
It's me.
Holly!
Kennedy had a crush on me. She told me so.
Come, let's hug.
There you go. I wanted to have sex with Kennedy. She's pretty good, you guys. She's not bad, huh? But she always thought that I didn't like her because she wasn't a bimbo. Oh, God. Oh, God.
Can I do my impression of Mariah Carey?
Hi, Bill. How are you?
Yeah, it's Mariah Carey. Hey, Bill, don't show this side of my face.
Now and then.
I have a side of me that's naughty. Maybe someone needs to bring it out of me.
Really?
I don't know.
Really
Let's talk
now?
about that.
No kidding.
There's one thing you could count on. Any woman that he interviewed, like, totally was like, yeah, Bill, that's right. You know, these women that were, you know, hugely famous, some of the most famous women in the world, were just reduced to, like, just flirtatious 14-year-olds.
This is Janet Jackson, my sweetheart over here. These are her dancers. They are all that. I was really nervous, but it kind of read real, and people were like, you were so cool, man. I would have passed out. Janet Jackson was rubbing your nipple. I would have died, you know? Ooh. And I was like, I really did die.
Wasn't it Freud who noted that pent-up sexual energy ultimately gets channeled to more creative outlets?
It was fun. It was, you know, coming up with crazy ideas on a Monday and putting it on the air on Wednesday.
And it might suck, and it might be great. You had no idea. And if it sucked, who cares?
It's no wonder then that no one quite remembers who at MTV created what.
Robert Small and Jim Burns, two outside people, had come with an idea for a show called Unplugged. And what happened between the proposed tape date of October 31st, 1989, and that summer was the Video Music Awards. You think of that show, the one thing you remember, John Bon Jovi, Richie Sambora, acoustic, Wanted, Dead or Alive. And someone had the great idea, let's spin this, told the world through press that we're doing this show Unplugged based on that. So John and Richie actually thought they created the show.
It was my idea.
It wasn't his idea.
It was my idea.
It was our lawyer's idea.
Well, how about this show? Let's try and find out what happens when people stop being polite and start getting nervous. And they didn't go for that. Years later, someone stopped being polite, started being real. That's where I was always this close.
I am making the team.
It was bizarre. There were supposedly people at MTV, like 8 different people who had this idea for MTV Sports.
MTV Sports, Dan Cortez, Rock and Jock 92 tryouts.
So what's up? Where's your dorm?
We're live, MTV
Yes,
Sports.
thanks, Ray, thanks.
Yeah, we started Rock and Jock.
Matthew and Willie,
MTV
and of course,
Sports.
Miss Jazz.
It was a brainchild of Ted in the bathroom one time, right?
I thought of Rock and Jock in the bathroom. I don't know if I can take credit for that one.
I came up with Rock and Jock basketball in 1988.
It was my idea.
Okay,
he always
your
tries
idea.
to horn in on credit.
Don't fight, children. What have we learned?
Copyright your ideas.
No matter who ultimately takes the blame for Rock and Jock, the annual celebrity competition has become one of a multitude of special events MTV's innovated over the years, events that have become part of TV culture. MTV's Beach House has evolved from a local summer share into a global groove. Annual coverage of spring break has helped transform a mere college getaway into a nationwide celebration of hedonism. When it comes to award shows, the MTV Movie Awards is an irreverent, fan-oriented show, serving the audience as much as it does the industry. Created in 1984 to make fun of stuffy award galas, the 1999 Video Music Awards brought music's biggest artist to the largest audience ever for a cable entertainment program. MTV has also become known for its live coverage of major concert events, from the calamitous Woodstock '99 festival all the way back to a day in 1985, when some say MTV truly came of age, and where one young producer earned his place in the footnotes of television history.
Over 1,000 journalists from around the world recorded the event that would become instant history.
Live Aid, because it was also carried on ABC and was a real worldwide media event, and MTV had it from top to bottom, really legitimized MTV, I think, to the entire country and to some extent to the world.
So we're working at Live Aid, and it's a hot day, and we're killing ourselves, but we have these all-access passes, so we can get anywhere. So we're going all over the place, meeting rock stars and having a great time.
So the show is kind of winding down, all these people are going on stage, and the only place that the camera crews couldn't get all day was on stage. We were like not allowed.
And I realized while they were singing the We Are the World finale, I had walked right to the side of the stage, and nobody was there.
Security had kind of broken down at the end. So Joe goes, hey, come on, Dougie, let's go on stage. So we sort of look both ways, and me and him and the camera crew go on stage.
And I run over between the two guys from Duran Duran, and I start singing We Are the World.
And they sort of like look up expecting to see some other superstar, and you see them both go, you know, and he just sits there singing We Are the World with them, you know, like he's, you know, a member of Duran Duran. How many people can say that they were on stage at Live Aid singing We Are the World? You know, there's probably 40 of them, and you know all their names, except Joe Davola.
You may not know it, MTV is the biggest network in the world.
Welcome to the world's first global network.
We're in India, we're in China, we're in Russia, we're all over Europe.
Going around the world, honestly. I mean, for us to do Yo MTV Raps live from Russia.
They couldn't speak the language, but they knew what the Ed Lover did.
But the music translated properly right through to them.
It's affected the world. It's affected the way television is viewed and the way editing is done, and the look of everything is affected by MTV.
The people you work with are cool and hip and willing to work hard and try.
So it seems to have worked out fairly well.
Thank you, MTV, for the great decade of a fantastic time in my life.
In all the old footage, like it brings back different memories for me, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't, I was just watching going, yeah, that's right, that's how it was. I remember that with my handkerchief.
Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. MT blah. Blah, blah, tele blah.
You down with MTV? Yeah, you know me. You down with MTV? Yeah, you know me. You down with MTV? Yeah, you know me. Who's down with MTV? You down with MTV? Yeah, you know me. You down with MTV? Yeah, you know me. You down with MTV? Yeah, you know me. Who's down with MTV? Trey, break it down.
All the other stories are really not right for this special. They're for uncensored.
Anyone else with a crush on me that I could do something about now?
Oh, no, wait. So we won't talk about that either.
MTV uncensored.